Okay, we're going to watch this clip now from the 51-minute mark of the video that I'm going to link for you in the description box. And, excuse me, and Barack Obama is going to be talking about faith. He mentions the importance of having doubt in his faith. Faith is, we believe in something we don't see. And then he talks about being the exclusive voice of God. Let's watch this and we'll analyze this together with what he is saying.
All principles bridge us together, and when we focus on those things, then we can make progress, even if in our own families, our own faith communities, our own religious practice, there are certain things that and that, I think, is where we sometimes get confused. I will say personally, for me, in my own faith, I also think that it's useful to have a little bit of doubt. Faith is the reason you need faith is because you're believing in things that you can't see right away. And as a consequence, I'm always humble. I try to be humble when it comes to my faith. I don't assume that God is speaking exclusively through me. I assume that God, I will say personally, for me, in my own faith, I also think that it's useful to have a little bit of doubt. Faith is the reason you need faith is because you're believing in things that you can't see right away. And as a consequence, I'm always humble. I try to be humble when it comes to my faith. I don't assume that God is speaking me. I assume that God sees wisdom in all the people out here too.
Okay, he said, I don't assume that God is speaking exclusively through me. I don't assume that God is speaking exclusively through me. So we are able to analyze these sayings based on, is he saying, is this a complete statement? It's like when he read from Psalm 46 at the One World Freedom Tower, and he said, be still and know that I am God. And so he pronounced these words, right? And so now he says, I do not assume that God is speaking exclusively through me. So if we discount the first part, he just said, God is speaking exclusively through me. God is speaking exclusively through me.
And if I become so convinced that I'm always right, that it does not admit the possibility that maybe someone else has some wisdom and is expressing God's will, then the logical conclusion of that ends up off great cruelty and great violence. And I think that in a pluralistic world, in a world in which we have many different peoples coming from many different faith traditions, trying to preserve some sense that each of us only sees part of the truth, not the whole truth, is an important quality to have.
So here's more. This guise of the Protestant Reformation gives him this opportunity to make all these statements about God, and now he's talking about his faith. He's talking about the importance of doubt. What is he trying to sow into the hearts of his listeners? The fact that in anybody's faith, it's important to have doubt. And then talking about being, he said, I will not assume that I am speaking exclusively for God. So he is saying he's speaking for God. Okay? He is saying that. Whether we take out that first part or not, I do not assume that I'm speaking exclusively for God, but that means that he is speaking for God, but there may be others that are speaking for God too. So if we take out the first part and he says, I am speaking exclusively for God, but either way, he is saying that he is a voice or the voice of God or of a God, okay? This is here, guys. It's right here in this speech, and this is for us to analyze. It's for us to understand. What the Lord has given to me is showing me the importance of May 25th, Barack Obama at the Berlin Throne of Satan. This is Ascension Day. It's also the day that Jupiter is leaving Virgo. There's so many things tied to this. And this is now, this is a sign from God that we need to watch. And this is then going to be, throughout this, I'm going to tell you right now, this is what we are seeing. We are seeing the fulfillment of 2 Thessalonians 2:4 when it says he will sit in the temple of a God, proclaiming to be God. This is what we are seeing, and this will be shown in the coming days. We are on Ascension Day, and I think, guys, that this is going to be our final warning to Pentecost, if we make it to Pentecost. But I do not think we will go beyond Pentecost. These are the signs that we needed to see, and this will be linked to sudden destruction, just as it says in Acts chapter